All right, so today I have a short amount of time and I need to get quite a few things done. So the last time you saw me, we just had a snowstorm, and then we actually ended up having another one with extremely heavy wet snow, and I lost power again. So I am just trying to catch up on a few things, and then there's still a lot of things that I need to get to, and a lot of stuff in my garden just snapped from both storms. So from the first stress of the ice and snow, and then the second nor'easter that we just had. Unfortunately, the beautiful lilac hedge that I have in front of my side garden, the middle of a few of them just completely snapped. They were so flat on the ground, I didn't have it in me to take any picture or video of it because I couldn't look at it. I barely could look at it in person. So at some point, I'm going to have to go in and get rid of those damaged branches. But that's going to be for another video. Today, I'm going to show you how the tulips are looking. I've got my overdue pre-sprouted dahlias that, I mean, my goodness, I should have done this a while ago, honestly, but if you are ever wanting to check the viability of your tubers that you overwinter, this is a great way, an easy way. Don't drop your tubers like that. But this is a great and easy way to check to see which tubers are viable before you go potting them up. And so you'll see all these roots, the shoots. I should have potted these up when I just started to see some new growth on them, honestly. I think they'll be fine. Dahlias are pretty hardy, and I already know that these ones are pretty healthy, so I'll just clean up these roots a bit, pot these up and cover them, I'd say about 5 to 6 inches. So we're gonna scrounge for some pots in the garden, and I do have some plastic pots that I've saved over the years that I'll throw some of these into as well, because it's not my flower bed that I'm creating out back, or the cut flower garden I'm creating out back is not ready, and it won't be for another, I'd say, 5 weeks. We still have to order compost, get that, etc. So today the main focus is these dahlias. So before I start potting up these sprouted dahlias, I'll just quickly go through my process of how I pre-sprout them. So all you do is simply take a tray, or I use these reusable cardboard trays that you get at any local greenhouse if you buy plants or flat of plants. And I just lined it with a little bit of soil, that way I wouldn't have any leakage at the bottom of this box, because the soil that I did use, I didn't pre-moisten it, but it was a new bag of soil because I didn't want it to leak through, and I want to reuse this from year to year. So all you simply do is just put down about 1 inch or 2 layer of potting soil, and then you lay your tubers down, and you want them eye side up. So you look, this is the body, this is the neck, and then where these shoots are coming out of, those are eyes. So you just want to make sure that those are pointing upwards. And then you just cover them, the bodies of the tubers, with about 1 inch or so of potting soil on top of that. And you just make sure that the eyes are exposed. So don't cover those in potting soil. And you also don't need to water, don't do anything until you start to see these come up. So that's all I did. I just put them right on this tray, lined them up, covered them up, leaving the eyes exposed, and then I waited. I just put these on top of my kitchen counter over my dishwasher, so some of the heat I thought might help to encourage them to sprout up. And we do have that. And ideally, I think I said this earlier, ideally you do want to pot these up earlier than I have, once they've started to shoot or sprout, just because you don't want to cause them to have a poor leaf performance if they're already growing, I guess is my understanding from what I've read. But we're just gonna wing it because, you know, honestly, I didn't even know if any of these were going to be viable, so we have a good surprise here. Here we go.
Stand by you when you're falling, when the river is calling. I said I love you forever. We can make it together. What goes up must come down. There's lots of friendly faces all around, and nothing's ever lifting me higher than a touch of your sweet desire. What we're all built in right. We just have to hold on through the night. As long as we are watching the fire, we'll be safe from the devil's choir. I stand by you when you're falling.
I thought it might be a good idea for me to pot them up with a little bit of some fertilizer because dahlias are heavy growers. So I'm just using some leftover Proven Winners continuous plant fertilizer in at the base and scrubbing it in before potting these up. I've done that before in years prior, and the dahlias really loved it, and they didn't mind it when they were planted in some pots. So yes, let me continue and see how many dahlias we can pot up. So I finished going through my tray of pre-sprouted dahlias, and I just wanted to show you why this is such a good practice, especially if you have tried overwintering your own dahlia tubers and you're just not sure if they are viable or not. It saves you on space. So if you have limited space and you're really trying to make the most impact for your garden and you don't have the space or time or even the material, so if you have pots or if you have potting soil, you really have to be pretty careful with how you're utilizing these resources, and it's better to not have it go to waste worrying and waiting to see if you will have a dahlia tuber sprout. So on some of these, you'll see I have a pile over here of dahlia tubers that did not sprout, but they do develop roots. So I thought, you know, they have a body, right? There is a neck, and I thought, well, there are a few little eyes, but perhaps maybe their crown is damaged, right? So I thought, you know what, this might be a good one to try, but unfortunately, it didn't work. So I'm happy to have it rather fail in this tray than having me put time, effort, and energy into putting these into a container that would have been better utilized if I had tried pre-sprouting them on my own and been successful. That's a key tip for you. So even though it takes a little bit more effort on your end and a little bit more pre-planning, it is absolutely worth it because you're going to be more effective in what you're growing in your garden. It's a great idea to just test them to see whether you'll have blooms or not. All right, so these will be composted too. I just will throw these right in the compost pile. So regardless, they're not going to waste, but it looks like I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more. So I have 7 more dahlia tubers to plant up. So let's get going on that.
So high in love.
There's a bunch of dirt in here. Well, we finished planting up all of the pre-sprouted dahlia tubers. Try and say that 10 times fast. It's really hard. And I'm about to go throw these unsuccessful tubers into the compost in the back. And it's just starting to rain, so I'm not going to water them in. I'm gonna let Mother Nature help me out with that one right now. So I'm really excited. Out of what? Let's see. So I think we got about 70% of the tubers that I overwintered are viable, which is 70% more than I was expecting. So that's a win. And now I'm just going to show you what the seedlings are looking like, but more importantly, the tulips are getting ready to just take off, I think, in the next few weeks. So still a lot to do in terms of disassembling some things in the garden and fixing up a few beds. But we got a lot done today with these dahlias. That was my #1 task. And I've got to hurry up because the rain is picking up. So I'll just show you quickly what my seedlings are looking like and maybe the damaged lilacs, although that's pretty a sore spot for me right now, but I'll just turn it around. So. Okay, so I still have some cleanup to do in this back bed, as you'll see, some leaves, but the seedlings, they are struggling, some of them. Like, look at that. So I'm going to give them some fish food fertilizer here. A lot of those are actually lupins, and I don't think I will try starting them indoors ever again. It could have been from the storms that we had where we lost power and when they really needed the heat and light and they just weren't getting it. But you'll see some of my marigolds, like my marigolds are doing great. I have to point with my foot because I still have my coffee and my tuber here. So my marigolds are still doing good. I did pinch them off along with the cosmos. You'll see right next to it. I have the chamomile. That's doing really good. My Crispidia, not doing so hot. But I think hopefully I should be able to direct sow some of those. Zinnias, I have a few zinnias. Asters. Asters are actually really hardy for me. They're doing good. There's one Crispidia right there. So, yeah. Those ones are looking a little better. Snapdragons that I will have to pinch off as well. The rule of thumb that I'm using for pinching off, like with my cosmos, zinnias, marigolds, snaps, really any plant that benefits from pinching off, I wait until they have at least 3 sets of leaves, 3 sets of true leaves. So not the initial leaves that they have, but the set of leaves they develop after that, and then 2 more from that. So my snaps are almost ready to be pinched off, but I've done pretty much everything else. I may have missed a zinnia or 2, but that's because if you pinch off the top, it will encourage the plant to put more energy and time into encouraging the plant to bush out more. So that means more stems, more flowers, which we love. They may not get as tall as you're hoping, so if that's not what you're hoping for and you want more flowers, check to see if your plant will benefit from pinching off. Chances are, if it's a cut flower, quite a few of them do. So there's a good tip for you. So yes, I will be fertilizing them here soon, but I do have them out to get a good drink of water over the next few days. I take them outside and then I put them back into the greenhouse because it's a little bit more protected at nighttime. And I'm not that cruel where I just have thrown them out 100% in the backyard on their own. But yeah, some are limping along. Some are certainly limping along. But the tulips look fantastic. So I'm expecting, oh gosh, yeah, about maybe the end of this month, 1st of May, right on schedule, we will have some tulips. And by golly, I will get these beds in order and this makeshift trellis down. We just have recently had quite a bit of snow, but look at that, it's almost all gone now. So let me quickly show you the lilacs and what I'm planning to do with them this year. So here are the lilacs. If you've been following, you've seen them in previous years in full bloom, and they were just majestic, but I don't know how well you can see. There is quite a bit of snapping on these in the center, so I will be going through and trimming out all of the damaged. When I say these things were flattened to the ground, they were flattened to the ground. I had to, my neighbors probably thought I was nuts, but I came out here at nighttime and was just trying to help shake off some of the heavy snow that we had gotten that day. But yeah, unfortunately, they just succumbed to Mother Nature, and we're just gonna have to go with it. So my plan is, when it warms up the end of this week, I'm gonna go through and cut out all of the snapped and broken branches. I'm going to wait until they're done flowering, the healthy ones, which should be early spring, and then right after that, I'm going to do a heavy prune to them. They are mature lilacs, so it will be unfortunate to lose all of that mature growth, but they really will benefit from thinning out, and I'm going to take them down to about 1/3, which I most likely will not get blooms next year. Maybe the year after that I won't, but they will be healthy, they will be thinned out, and they will be, when they do come back blooming, they're going to be just flushing with growth. So sometimes you have to take an L, maybe for a year, maybe 2, but it's going to be for the health of these plants, and honestly, it will just look a whole lot tidier too, so it'll be better all around. And just a quick view of the garden. So thankfully I've been able to get to some pruning here or there. I think, like most of us, we just try to do it when we can. It's just the name of the game with gardening. All right, thank you so much for watching and tuning in. I hope you enjoyed seeing little snippets of what's going on in the garden. I hope to show you some flowers and blooming things here soon, but for now, it's just getting to projects, the spring cleanup that we all have. So I hope you have an amazing day. I will see you soon.